When I was 18, I was literally the loneliest that I've ever been in my life. I had just started university in a whole new city, and I thought that this was going to be the time where I make my lifelong friends. I'd seen a bunch of movies, all the Instagram reels, all the YouTube videos and TikToks, and I just thought, surely this is when I'll meet my friends. Surely this is when I'll meet my people and I'll find my tribe. Besides the fantasy that is sold online, I had built up such an imagination in my mind that there was so much to live up to. Maybe even too much to live up to. I thought, I'll finally be happy when I make friends. I'll finally be happy when I have people that understand me. I'll finally be happy when I meet my people. Until that didn't happen. I went through the entire first year of medical school, not really clicking with people and meeting my people. I thought I'd done something wrong, and I thought, surely I just need to try harder. I need to meet more people, then I'll meet my friends. But honestly, that was the wrong approach. And it's only now that I've realised later on that friends won't fix your loneliness.
Yes, I did that.
Because I ain't got the fish shoes, blue. Yes,
And you would do it too for a check.
Friends won't fix your loneliness because of a few reasons, which we're going to unpack in this video. I've got a bunch of chapters which are pretty much the main point of this video. Feel free to bounce through and bounce between them if you want. Kind of harsh, but loneliness is a you problem. What I mean by this is pretty much if you feel like you need friends and there's a hole inside of you, like there's a hole inside of you that you feel like friendships are going to fill. If you meet the right people that understand you, they're going to fill that hole. If you meet people with all the same interests as you, like the same hobbies, do the same things in their spare time, watch the same movies, listen to the same music, if you meet those people, then you'll be happy. Honestly, that's not like a friendship problem, that's a you problem. And it's not a you problem like you're doing something wrong, it's just that your beliefs about friendship are a bit skewed. I honestly think it's such a shame that online and in movies and stuff there's just such an emphasis and honestly just pressure placed on friendships, because just like you wouldn't put pressure on a spouse to like fulfill you, and I know we say like your other half and like your better half, people say that, but honestly that's not really how it works, and that's not how a happy relationship works. Similarly, a happy friendship, you don't complete each other and you don't fill a void in each other. Like, you're both pretty happy people already. If in the right world, if you were a happy person that was just vibing, living life, like you're good, and you make a friend, even before you had the friend you were still happy and just vibing. Whereas if you're unhappy and you're a bit depressed and you're low and you're just unhappy and you need the friend to make you happy, that's a problem. Friendships are so complex. I'm gonna probably make a video on just how when you're a lonely person and you look up to friendships, there's so much that you're missing out and not actually like being aware of. There's so much that can happen in a friendship that change the dynamic. You can fall out, there's conflict, there's arguments, there's relationships, there's a lot. So to make it such a fantasy and make it a thing in your head that is going to make you happy and literally complete you, is just to ignore so much of the reality that actually happens in a friendship that could mean that the friendship actually isn't what you thought it would be. It's not going to live up to your expectations. Another reason why friends won't fix your loneliness is because will you even open up? For example, to have the friends that you kind of like dream of and think about in your head and fantasize about, maladaptive daydream about, they're the sorts of friendships that are probably like really, really deep and there's a lot of connection behind them. And you have to think, if you're the sort of person that's too scared to be yourself or to open up, or you're too scared to kind of show your insecurities, will you even open up in the way that you want to in order to make those friends? Whenever I listen to like a podcast or like an expert on connection and meaningfulness or something like that, whenever I've listened to those sorts of podcasts, they always talk about how the depth of your relationships and friendships is the level of depth of your communication and how well you'll open up. To be honest, when I think back to my first year of uni, I think that's probably where I went wrong. Like, I wasn't opening up as much as I should have been in order to make friends. The friends that I had back then are still the same friends that I have now, which is honestly a testament to the fact that I just didn't open up. Whereas as the years went on in uni, my second year of med school went, third year, fourth year, and now my fifth year, I've learned how to kind of open up and have more honest communication, and I'm not scared to show my insecurities as much now, whereas I was in first year, which is why I couldn't connect as much back then. Another reason why friends won't fix your loneliness is because, are they friends or are they acquaintances? We've all addressed this concept before and we all know kind of what it means, but when you kind of think about who you want to be friends with in the future, you have to bear in mind that not all of your friends that you quote unquote call them will be your friends, and some of them will just be acquaintances, which is totally okay. Literally everyone has a degree of friendships and acquaintances, and it's good to have a mix of both, to be honest, because Sometimes you just want someone who you don't know too well to speak to, someone who's a bit more distant in your friendship group, and then you kind of want the friends that are closer just to talk to you about something a bit more personal. But don't assume that all your friends are friends, because some of them will definitely be acquaintances. Another thing people commonly get wrong is quality over quantity. It would be way better to have 2 amazing friends than 5 lukewarm friends, or even 7, 12, 15, 20 lukewarm friends. Like, don't put too much pressure on trying to get your numbers up and make more friends at every event you go to, or every society, every gathering, every work event. Like, it's okay if you don't rack up the numbers. What's more important is what we touched on earlier, like racking up the communication and the connection and the opening up. That matters way more than actually the numbers. I think that's the exact reason why you hear about people's relationships where maybe someone's been together for 10 years and they never got engaged, never got married, never had kids, and they get with someone new who they've been with for like months or even like a year, and then in that year they get married or they have a child and they move in, and it's just like, how did that happen so quickly, yet you were with someone else for ages? And it's because it's the quality over the quantity. It doesn't matter how many years you've been with someone if just the quality and the depth wasn't there.
Okay, so I'm currently editing this and I've just been watching this part back, and I actually don't think this part relates to relationships as much. Definitely with friendships, I think quality matters 100%, but obviously sometimes in relationships I think people settle maybe, so that's why you can be with someone for ages and then they get married super quickly. That's maybe like a whole different story, so probably not the best to compare them in this part of the video, but I hope you get the point.
High expectations will be a large reason why you're unhappy if you're struggling to make friends. I think a lot of people that are struggling with loneliness or spending a lot of time on their own might spend a bit too much time thinking and daydreaming about the friendships they want to have, which first of all is great because you need to set some standards, get a rough idea of what you're looking for so that you know what it is when you find it. But then if you spend too much time in that fantasy phase, you might just start to develop high expectations, and then it'll be hard for like real people to meet these unrealistic expectations that you've set in your mind. I think a common one is people just thinking that they want friends that just know them inside out, or they just understand why they say what they say and why they think what they think. And it's just like, I mean, that is realistic to some extent if you really like work on the connection and build it up. But then, I don't know, in the first few weeks of meeting someone, or even first few months, like that's a very high expectation to have. And it's probably one of the things contributing to why you might feel lonely, because each time you do meet someone, even if they're great and lovely and it's a great time that you spent with them, it doesn't meet your expectation. Unfortunately, friends won't fix your loneliness if you're uncomfortable with solitude. This is very counterintuitive because you'd think surely, like, if you're lonely, you're comfortable with solitude, you're comfortable with being on your own, and surely just friends will just fix that. But actually no, like, for someone to be a healthy person in a friendship, you have to be just as comfortable with their company as you are without it. Otherwise, that's just what people call needy. Like, if you just desperately need someone around you all the time to feel comfortable or to feel secure, to feel like you're loved and you have people that care about you, like, you shouldn't need someone present with you all the time to feel those things. And that can be one of the things that maybe like shocks you when you do actually make friends, and you do make the friends but you still feel lonely because you're like, well, surely it would have fixed it by now. But it's because you just don't feel comfortable on your own. And last but not least, friends won't fix your loneliness because you have a fear of being vulnerable. I definitely had this for the longest time, where I'd literally gatekeep all of my feelings and I'd be too scared to open up, talk about the things that make me feel insecure and shy, and the things that make me feel lonely, and how I could be in a room full of people yet still feel really alone. But honestly, it's so counterintuitive, because all the things that you're scared to say are the exact things that you should say to make the friend. Like, all the friendships that you want to have, all the things that you dream of, the connection that you really want to have, and the depth of the friendship, all those things that you're scared to say are the things that you need to say to make those friends. And it's a tough one because it's scared to open up when you've been taught for such a long time not to open up, whether it's because each time that you did open up you were punished for it, or people make you feel worse about yourself. But it's one of the best things that you could do for your connection and making the friends that you want to make. And it's definitely one of the best things that I did last year, was just push myself to open up more and more. Like, in any conversation where I'm meeting someone new, like, say something that you don't normally say, Christina. Like, say something that you don't normally tell a stranger, even if it's something small, like, you know, I'm having a bad day actually. Like, you know, if someone says how are you, like, just be a bit more vulnerable than you normally would. I honestly think there's a link between some of the most lonely people and some of the most nice people. It's really weird because I feel like you'd think someone that's really nice and so positive to everyone and so kind and so lovely, like, they would honestly have the most friends, but sometimes it's like they have the least friends. I've made a whole entire video delving deep into this, and I'm gonna link it here. Let me know what you think of that video, and let me know what else you'd like to see on this channel. I talk a lot about loneliness and friendships and just a whole bunch of random stuff, but I'd love to know what you want to see more of. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.